नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवत्युत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances unto the personality of Godhead, Narayana, unto Naranarayana Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author, by regular attendance in the classes on Srimad Bhagavatam, and by rendering of service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed. And loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. Reading Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 8, Text 21. Samplavaha sarvabhutanam vikramaha pratisankramaha ishta purtasya kamyanam trivargasya cha yaha vidhi san. Yeah, that's the thing.
Oh, cancel.
Your screen is it? Samplava sarvabhutanam vikrama pratisankramaha इष्टापूर्तस्य काम्यानां त्रिवर्गस्य च यो विधिः संप्लवः सर्वभूतानां विक्रमः प्रतिसंक्रमः इष्टापूर्तस्य काम्यानां त्रिवर्गस्य च यो विधिः. संप्लवः सर्वभूतानां विक्रमः प्रतिसंक्रमः इष्टापूर्तस्य काम्यानां त्रिवर्गस्य च यो विधिः.
संप्लवः सर्वभूतानां
विक्रमः प्रतिसंक्रमः इष्टापूर्तस्य काम्यानां त्रिवर्गस्य च यो विधिः.
संप्लवः सर्वभूतानां विक्रमः प्रतिसंक्रमः
इष्टापूर्तस्य काम्यानां त्रिवर्गस्य च यो विधिः.
संप्लवः सर्वभूतानां विक्रमः प्रतिसंक्रमः ईष्टस्य पूर्तस्य काम्यानां त्रैवर्गस्य च यो विधिः.
संप्लवः सर्वभूतानां
संप्लवः सर्वभूतानां
विक्रमः प्रतिसंक्रमः
विक्रमः प्रतिसंक्रमः
इष्टापूर्तस्य काम्यानाम्
इष्टापूर्तस्य काम्यानां
त्रिवर्गस्य च यो विधि
त्रिवर्गस्य च यो विधिः संप्लवः सर्वभूतानां विक्रमः प्रतिसंक्रमः इष्टापूर्तस्य काम्यानां संप्लवः सर्वभूतानां विक्रमः प्रतिसंक्रमः इष्टापूर्तस्य काम्यानां त्रिवर्गस्य च यो विधिः
संप्लवः सर्वभूतानां विक्रमः प्रतिसंक्रमः
इष्टापूर्तस्य काम्यानां त्रिवर्गस्य च यो विधिः संप्लवः सर्वभूतानां विक्रमः प्रतिसंक्रमः इष्टापूर्तस्य काम्यानां त्रिवर्गस्य च यो विधिः संप्लवः the perfect means or complete devastation sarvabhutanam of all living beings vikramaha specific power or situation pratisankramaha ultimate destruction ishta performance of Vedic rituals purtasya pious acts in terms of religion kamyanam rituals for economic development trivargasya the three means of religion economic development and sense gratification Cha also Yah whatsoever Vidhi procedures. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace of Nature Narada Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. Please explain unto me how the living beings are generated, how they are maintained and how they are annihilated. Also tell me what is advantageous and what is disadvantages for discharging devotional service unto the Lord. What are the Vedic rituals and injunctions of the supplementary Vedic rites? And what are the procedures of religion, economic development and sense gratification? Please repeat after me. Please explain unto me how the living beings are generated, how they are maintained, and how they are annihilated. Also tell me what is advantageous and what is disadvantages for discharging devotional service unto the Lord. What are the Vedic rituals and injunctions of the supplementary Vedic rites? And what are the procedures of religion, economic development and sense gratification? Purport. The word samplava in the sense of perfect means is employed to denote the discharging of devotional service, and pratisankramaha means just the opposite, or that which destroys the progress of devotional service. One who is firmly situated in the devotional One who is firmly situated in the devotional service of the Lord can very easily execute the functions of conditional life. Living the conditional life is just like flying a boat in the middle of the ocean. One is completely at the mercy of the ocean, and at every moment there is every chance of being drowned in the ocean by slight agitation. If the atmosphere is all right, the boat can ply very easily, undoubtedly, but if there is some storm, fog, wind, or cloud, there is every possibility of being drowned in the ocean. No one can control the winds of the ocean, however one may be materially well equipped. One who has crossed the oceans by ship may have sufficient experience of such dependence upon the mercy of the ocean. But one can fly over the ocean of material existence by the grace of the Lord very easily, without any fear of storm or fog. It all depends on the will of the Lord. No one can help if there is some unfortunate danger in the state of conditional life. The devotees of the Lord, however, cross the ocean of material existence without anxiety, because a pure devotee is always protected by the Lord. Bhagavad Gita chapter 9, text 13. The Lord gives special attention to His devotees in their activities within material conditional life. Therefore, everyone should take shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord and be a pure devotee of the Lord by all means. One should know, therefore, from the expert spiritual master the advantages and disadvantages conditions for discharging devotional service. Just as Maharaj Parikshit asked his spiritual master, Srila Sukadeva Goswami, according to the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu's signs of devotional service, one should not eat more than what he requires to maintain body and soul together. Vegetable diets and milk are sufficient for maintenance of the human body, and therefore one has no need to eat anything more to satisfy the palate. One should also not accumulate money to become puffed up in the material world. One should earn his livelihood easily and honestly, for it is better to become a coolie for an honest livelihood than to become a great man in society by hook and crook. There is no harm if one becomes the richest man in the world by honest dealing, but one should not sacrifice the honest means of livelihood simply to accumulate wealth. Such an endeavor is harmful to devotional service. One should not talk nonsense. A devotee's business is to earn the favor of the Lord. Therefore, a devotee should always glorify the Lord in His wonderful creation. A devotee should not decry the creation of the Lord, defying Him by saying that He has created a false world. The world is not false. Factually, we have to take so many things from the world for our maintenance. So, how we can say that the world is false? Similarly, how can one think of the Lord as being without form? How can one become formless and at the same time have all intelligence and consciousness, direct and indirect? So there are many things for a pure devotee to learn, and he should learn them perfectly from a bona fide personality like Sukadeva Goswami. The favorable conditions for discharging devotional service are that one should be very enthusiastic in serving the Lord. The Lord, in His form of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, wanted the cult of devotional service to the Lord to be preached all over the world in every nook and corner, and therefore a pure devotee's duty is to discharge this order as far as possible. Every devotee should be very enthusiastic not only in performing his daily rituals of devotional service, but in trying to preach the cult peacefully by following in the footsteps of Lord Chaitanya. If he is not superficially successful in such an attempt, he should not be deterred from the discharge of his duty. Success or failure has no meaning for a pure devotee because he is a soldier in the field. Preaching the cult of devotional service is something like declaring war against materialistic life. There are different kinds of materialists such as the fruitive workers, the mental speculators, mystic jugglers and so many others. All of them are against the existence of God. They would declare that they are themselves God, although in every step and in every action they are dependent on the mercy of the Lord. Therefore, a pure devotee may not associate with such gangs of atheists. A strong devotee of the Lord will not be misled by such atheistic propaganda of the non-devotees, but a neophyte devotee should be very cautious about them. A devotee should see to the right discharge of devotional service under the guidance of a bona fide spiritual master and should not stick only to the formalities. Under the direction of the bona fide spiritual master, one should see how much service is being executed and not simply in the matter of rituals. A devotee should not hanker after anything, but he should be satisfied with things that may automatically come to him by the will of the Lord. That should be the principle of devotional service, a devotional life. And all these principles are easily learned under the guidance of a spiritual master like Sukadeva Goswami. Maharaj Parikshit inquired from Shukadeva correctly and one should follow his example. Maharaj Parikshit inquired about the process of creation, maintenance and destruction of the material world, the process of Vedic rituals and the method of executing pious activities in terms of supplementary Vedas like the Puranas and Mahabharata. As explained before, the Mahabharata is the history of ancient India and so also are the Puranas. Pious acts are prescribed in the supplementary Vedas, Smritis, which specifically mention digging tanks and wells for the water supply of the people in general, to plant trees on the public roads, to construct public temples and places of worship of God, to establish places of charity where the poor destitute can be provided with food stuff, and similar activities are called purta. Similarly, the process of fulfilling the natural desires for sense gratification was also inquired about by the king for the benefit of all concerned. Om Ajnana-Timirandasya Jnana-Anjana-Shalakaraya Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya-Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavascha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sarvanaganatam Tam Sajivam Advaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahaganalita Shri Vishakamatamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurange Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanam Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Svansha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Eva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamini Namane Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvasesha Shunyavadi Paschata Deshikarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So thank you very much for this opportunity to speak on the subject of Srimad Bhagavatam. So we are discussing Canto 2, Chapter 8, Text 21. The name of this chapter is Questions by King Parikshit. So we can see how Parikshit is inquiring in a very submissive attitude to Shukadeva Goswami, the spiritual master, as to how one can execute devotional service, what are the various rules and regulations. So let us read the translation once again. Please explain unto me how the living beings are generated, how they are maintained and how they are annihilated. Also tell me what is advantages and what is disadvantages for discharging devotional service unto the Lord. What are the Vedic rituals and injunctions of the supplementary Vedic rites, and what are the procedures of religion, economic development and sense gratification. So this is actually the subject matter which is discussed in the entire Vedic knowledge. All these are explained in detail. So Parikshit Maharaj is inquiring from Shukadeva Goswami on our behalf actually, for the benefit of everyone who will be studying this subject of Srimad Bhagavatam. So these are all very important inquiries. This attitude in which Parikshit Maharaj is inquiring is also noteworthy. This is how one has to approach a spiritual master and learn everything systematically, so that once one acquires theoretical knowledge, one can execute practical devotional service. In this way, one can rapidly advance in the spiritual life. So, there are, first of all, it is explained here, Samplavaha, the perfect means. So, we have actually attained this human form of life. The first thing is to inquire in this way, Athato Brahma Jigyasa. This human life is actually very, very important. The importance of this species is to be understood first of all. It is explained in several verses actually. So we will see first this verse. Labdha sudurlabham idam bahusam bhavante manushyamadhadam nityamapi hadhira Turnamyate tanapade dhanmrityu yavan nishreyasaya vishaya khalu sarvatasyat. After many, many births and deaths, one achieves the rare human form of life, which although temporary, affords one the opportunity to attain the highest perfection. Thus, a sober human being should quickly endeavor for the ultimate perfection of life, as long as his body, which is always subject to death, has not fallen down and died. After all, sense gratification is available even in the most abominable species of life, whereas Krishna consciousness is possible only for a human being. So, this human form of life is very rarely achieved in this whole cycle of reincarnation into various species of life. The human life is very rarely achieved, and this life is very, very important, very meaningful, arthadam. So it is to be utilized properly. There is no point of being satisfied with simply attaining this human form of life and that's it. We don't do anything about it. So if we may have, something very expensive and something that can do a lot of things, like let's say a phone or a laptop like this, but we don't use it. We just let it gather dust. What is the use, right? So similarly, human form of life also is very valuable. And it is being explained here that this is anityam. It is not going to stay for very long. So therefore, turnam. Turnam means very quickly, immediately. As soon as we realize the value of this life, we have to utilize it properly. Because it is not going to stay for very long. So therefore, we have to, from the very tender age of childhood, we have to begin inquiring. We have to approach a bona fide spiritual master. Of course, nowadays, in this situation, it is very difficult. We are placed on what may seem like a conveyor belt. When you put something on a conveyor belt, it has no control. It is just going in one direction. So we are put like that into a very stereotypical, program of activities, and we think this is how life begins. Go to school and enroll your first cry. Once you reach 3, 4 years old, 5 years old, go to school and then go to college, find some work, find some wife, children. That's all. Conveyor belt, death, cliff, going towards the cliff. So nobody is inquiring and nobody is being taught all these kind of things. So proper education means, in this way, one has to approach a spiritual master and inquire very submissively, and all these things can be understood. And we require a lot of time to learn all these things. So it is better to start very early. So this Krishna consciousness movement is providing this facility. Somehow or the other, starting, of course, there is no formal Gurukul system as yet, as Srila Prabhupada wanted. The Gurukuls are all affiliated with some board of education. Everywhere it's like this. So there is no formal, proper setup of a Gurukul. So Srila Prabhupada wanted this. He started it, but somehow it all fell apart. So that system of education can only show light to the young generation. So now it is more of somehow balancing. Gurukul system has all become, Krishna consciousness has just become an extra subject, like a co-curricular activity. Apart from the main curriculum, Krishna consciousness is an extra subject. And there also they are only taught what musical instruments and some very basic things and all that. So it is more or less become a failure completely. This current setup that is there in the name of Gurukul education. Anyway, so this human life is to be properly utilized. So if every parent can take up this responsibility of guiding the children properly, even within one's home, they can be taught. Children can be taught very nicely. And if we create the right kind of atmosphere for their spiritual growth, this can be attained. even if there is no formal, Gurukul or anything. So, this material existence, as Srila Prabhupada is also explaining in this purport, is compared to a vast ocean. Also in the morning we sing Samsara Davanalaledha Loka. So this material existence is, just like the samsara, the cycle of birth and death. It is just like a forest fire from which you cannot save yourself at all. You cannot bring your small little hose or your fire brigade, to come and extinguish this fire. So it is very, very difficult or impossible to escape from this. So here, of course, in this verse, the material existence is being compared to an ocean, a vast ocean, which is very difficult to cross. Right? So even if you may have a boat or something, as Srila Prabhupada is explaining in the purport, a boat on the ocean is simply at the mercy of the ocean. It is just being tossed by the waves. You can see even very perfectly, nicely constructed boats or ships. If you see on YouTube also, there are a lot of videos, ships crossing the Atlantic Ocean. I think Atlantic Ocean is the most turbulent ocean, right? So there you can see the ships, it's like, if you look at it, there's just no way, it seems like there's just no way they're going to go across. So they're just at the mercy of the ocean. They're being tossed like that, it goes like that. So it is very, very horrible to see. In fact, I think in 2012 or something, when you all went to New Zealand, right? There was some, 2012, so there was one place where some ferry boat had to be taken to cross some river, or is it ocean? No, not ocean, right?
Cambodia.
Mahaprabhu was planning actually to take the ocean and then, the river probably, a very turbulent one probably. So Mahaprabhu was planning, and then we all started looking up how it would be, ferry board, Then we stumbled upon these videos and we showed this to Prabhu. Straight away he cancelled, said we are not going by this means, we will just take the flight. So it is horrible, and Srila Prabhupada himself, right? When he went, that's why he is saying whoever has experience of traveling by ship can understand what this means. So material existence is even worse, of course. It is impossible to cross. So what we have, this human body is being compared to a boat. So simply having this boat is not sufficient. It also, the boat needs to be, you need to be a very expert captain to control the boat in such turbulent waters. So that also we have captain, we have a spiritual master. So unless we have a spiritual master, there is just no scope. With just a human body, you cannot just cross. Just if you have a boat, if you do not know how to control it properly, you cannot cross. So we have the captain, the spiritual master. And also for a boat to cross, the ocean, you need favorable winds, right? So especially that previously ship voyages, used to have this big, the ships they would not run with engine or anything, they would just use the wind. So they would have this cloth, what is it called? Sail. So with that, so they would check the direction of the wind, so if it is unfavorable, they won't start their voyage. So, when we are flying the kite also, what do? We check the wind like that. Lick the finger and we check the wind which direction, and then we fly the kite, right? So like that, they check the direction of the wind, and if it is not favorable, then they don't sail. So that is also required, favorable winds. So Krishna's instructions are there to help us, impel on our course of, in the forward direction. Krishna's instructions. So if we take guidance properly, Krishna's instruction means Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, all these literature is there to help us go on the proper course. So with all these advantages, if one does not utilize this human form of life, so what we are talking about here is this verse, Where is this? 11:17. Is it? 11:20:17. Hridayamadyam. Hridayamadyam sulabham sudurlabham lavam sukalpam guru karnadharam mayanapulena nabhasvateritam puman bhavabhim nataretsa atmaha. The human body, which can award all benefit in life, is automatically obtained by the laws of nature. We did not choose this, we did not select this. Automatically, by evolution, we have somehow come to this human form of life. After spending so many lifetimes in different species of life, we have attained this human form of life. By the laws of nature, we've been awarded this. Although it is a very rare achievement. Right? As Prahlad Maharaj is also saying, this is very, very rare. What is it? Kaumara Machare Prajna Dharman Bhagavataniha Durlabham Anasham Janma. So Durlabham means very rare. So this human body can be compared to a perfectly constructed boat. So that is exactly what you first need to cross the ocean. So we have that. Having the spiritual master as the captain. So spiritual master is the perfect captain. He knows exactly how to take the boat across turbulent water. And the instructions of the personality of Godhead as favorable winds impelling it on its course. Considering all these advantages, a human being who does not utilize his human life to cross the ocean of material existence must be considered the killer of his own soul. It is as if we are committing spiritual suicide if we do not utilize this human form of life. So this is our only business. Everyone is accustomed to setting so many aims and goals in life. So I want to become this, I want to become that. But actually, human life means our fundamental duty is to inquire about the absolute truth, inquire about our actual duty in life, just as Parikshit Maharaj is inquiring here. And our goal in life has already been set by Krishna. What is that? Ante Narayana Smriti. That is our goal. We have to be able to think of Krishna at the time of death. So, in order to do that, we need to put in enormous amount of practice. Otherwise, it is not possible. It is not as simple as, okay, now I know that I have to think of Krishna at the time of death, I will do so. No. It requires enormous amount of practice. So, this entire lifetime, if we can mold our life in such a way that we can think of Krishna throughout our life, whatever is the most prominent thought throughout our life, that is what will naturally come to our mind at the time of death. Right? If we have been thinking of some material thing, it is very natural for that thing to come to our mind. So if we think of Krishna, Sada Tadhava Bhavita. Sada means always. So whatever we have always been thinking, that is what will come to our mind at the time of death. So Krishna consciousness means to mold our life in such a way that our consciousness is fixed on Krishna alone. So that, death does not come with notice. So as even if death suddenly comes, you can easily think of Krishna. That should be the aim of life. And whatever is favorable for that goal should be accepted. And whatever is unfavorable to attain that goal should be rejected. This is what is these are the first two steps in the process of surrendering to the Lord. What is that? Anukulyasya sankalpa pratikulyasya varjanam. So therefore, Parikshit Maharaj is also asking that, what are advantages, what are disadvantages for executing devotional service? What are favorable, what are unfavorable? So all these need to be thoroughly understood. First of all, theoretically, under the guidance of a bona fide spiritual master and the association of devotees, all these things need to be understood theoretically first in order for us to practically apply. And the result of that would be that we will be able to think of Krishna at the time. That again is up to Krishna, whether or not we will be able to remember. If he wants, he can make us forget also. So therefore we have to completely depend on Krishna and pray to him that kindly you help me remember you at the time. We should not become overly proud that I can do it. Only by Krishna's mercy can this happen. So, this is one place where the human body is being compared to the boat. There are many other verses also where the lotus feet of Krishna is being compared to the boat. Right? So, where is that? 10, 14, 58. Yeah. So here now, naturally when we are told that we have to cross an ocean, it may seem very difficult, right? So here it is being said that when you take shelter of the lotus feet of Krishna, this ocean, this vast ocean of material existence gets reduced to the water contained in a calf's hoof print. So here we have some calves, they are always leaving some hoof prints all over the ground. So you pour some water in it. How much water can a calf's hoof print hold? Very little. So that vast ocean, which seems like it is impossible to cross, becomes reduced to the size of the water contained in the calf's hoof print. This much. So it is very easy to cross it. When you take shelter of the lotus feet of Krishna. So this is a very nice verse. Samashritaye padapallava plavam. Again the word plavam is used. Plavam means boat. Samashritaye padapallava plavam mahat padam punya yasho murare bhavam bhurirvatsa padam param padam 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 yadva padam nadesham. So those who have accepted the boat of the lotus feet of the Lord. What is the boat of the lotus feet of the Lord? The process of devotional service. Who is the shelter of the cosmic manifestation and is famous as Murari, the enemy of the Mura demon. The ocean of the material world is like the water contained in a calf's hoof print. Their goal is Parampadam, Vaikuntha, the place where there are no material miseries, not the place where there is danger at every step. So, devotional service is so potent that it can easily help us go across this ocean. It is very, very potent. So, if we have any doubt that, oh, maybe I cannot do it, or maybe it's not possible, the mind is always giving, this kind of thoughts. So, that also is nicely, it is explained here. Mukunda Mala Stotra, verse number 12. Bhavajaladhimagadham dustaram nistareyam kathamaham cheto masmaga kataratvam sarasijadrishi deve taraki bhakti reka naragabhidhinishanna tarayishyatyavashyam. So here, if you have any doubt, mind is thinking like this. So you see how King Kulashekara is praying, dear mind, do not bewilder yourself by anxiously thinking, how can I cross this fathomless and impassable ocean of material existence? There is one who can save you, devotion. If you offer her to the lotus-eyed Lord, the killer of Narakasura, she will carry you across this ocean without fail. So we should not doubt the potency of devotional service. We have to have complete faith that this process of devotional service that Krishna is recommending throughout the Bhagavad Gita, everywhere, that is the main instruction. You give up all sorts of other businesses, simply surrender unto me. Surrender means what? To execute devotional service. And the first two steps in surrender is this. Anukulyasya sankalpa, pratikulyasya varjana. Accept everything that is favorable to devotional service and reject all the other things which are unfavorable. And then also there are other four things, 6 steps in surrender. So, rakshishadati vishwa. So you should have complete faith that Krishna will protect you in all circumstances. He is never going to forsake his devotees. But of course, the criterion is you must become a devotee, first of all. I am devotee, Prabhu, nothing will happen to me. And then we don't do anything in devotional service, then Krishna is not obligated to, protect us. Or we should not do something stupid, hoping that Krishna will protect us. We should take proper guidance from the spiritual master and the devotees, how to properly execute, and we should be willing to take risks to achieve that goal. Not simply some stupid risks, just for some thrill. The goal should be to execute devotional service. I have faith in Krishna, I will go in the wrong side of the road. Not this kind of thing. Risks for executing devotional service. And we must have complete faith that Krishna will protect us. And Krishna will. He will not forsake his devotees. Rakshishadika Vishwaso Gotritve Varanam Gata. That means one's guardian. So we should consider Krishna alone as our savior or guardian. He is the only one whom we can actually rely on. He is our real protector. We should not have faith in our so-called mother and father, our other superiors, or nation, or this armed forces who are at the border. Oh, they will. No. We are not. Our only guardian is who? Krishna. Atma Nikshepa Karpanya. Atma Nikshepa means to completely surrender to the Lord, and Karpanya means to be very humble. Very humble, humility. So these are the 6 steps in surrender. So in this way, if we surrender and execute devotional service under the guidance of a bona fide spiritual master, this devotional service is so potent that it can help us cross the ocean of material existence. We should not doubt that. So even if there is any trace of some tinge of doubt, that can be removed in the association of devotees itself. We become our strengthening foundation. There was that series that Prabhu did. So we have to strengthen everything with the philosophy properly. Like here we have this big structure. So how deep, Prabhu, did the beams, the concrete go? 26 feet. You see, if that is not done, from the surface level we start constructing, what will happen? There is no foundation. Foundation has to be very, very strong. So if that is not strengthened and if we build a big structure, it will just topple. So similarly, if we do not strengthen our foundation, spiritual foundation, by learning all these things properly and in the association of devotees, if we want to portray ourselves as some big devotees, we will just fall. So therefore, humility is required. Humility means to always stay grounded on the earth. Otherwise, we'll be like helium balloons, puffed up. So both ways, we will go down only. One is voluntarily going down, the other one is falling down. So voluntarily going down is less hurtful, less painful. When we fall down, it is more painful. With ego, if humility is not there, foundation is weak, the head weight is too much. That's why they say head weight, right? Ego, too much ego means head weight. Too much weight on the top. Foundation is very weak. The top. Then it will be more painful. So voluntarily staying down is the proper way. So that is also a step in surrender. Even in the Bible it is said, only the meek and humble can inherit the kingdom of God. So this humility is a very important aspect in devotional service. Chaitra Mahaprabhu has taught, Trinadapi Suniche, more than, humbler than a blade of grass. So in this way we have to inquire from the spiritual master, favorable things, unfavorable things. So our acharyas, Rupa Goswami, in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, he has already clearly delineated all these rules and regulations. Of course, there are, actually in the Vedas, there are so many rules and regulations. Too many. So, Srila Prabhupada once said that he only gave us 20% of the rules and regulations. What we are following, ours is all very basic. Like, in the Smarta Vidhi, they are overly into all these rules and regulations to the extent that they forget why they are even following these rules and regulations. So, that is also actually one of the unfavorable things in devotional service. We should not become overly engrossed in, you must sit only this side, you must only breathe this way, you must do this. too many rules to remember. Like we are just coming from this, all these rituals that they did in the house for the, Nitya Karma rituals and all that for our father who recently passed away. So this Smartha Brahmanas and even our own family members, they're overly into all these things. Oh, you must do things this way only, that way only. How come you're so, you're in this field and you don't know about this? Like that. They're commenting some of them. So all these rules and all that, they do not know why all these rules are in place even. So what we follow in the Krishna consciousness movement, as introduced by Prabhupada, is very, very limited. 20%, not even 20% probably. But with full awareness that this is being done for Krishna. So that is the main thing. Sarvavedya Nishidasya Etayoreva Kinkara. What is that? Smartavya Sadato Vishnu Vismartavyena Jatachit. So you must always remember Krishna and never forget him. That should be the goal. But they remember all the rules and regulations but never forget and never remember Krishna. So it is defeating the purpose. So therefore, Niyamagraha, overly engrossed in all these rules and regulations. So that is not required. So one must learn all these things properly and in this way surrender to a bona fide spiritual master. Then this ocean of material existence will become very easy to cross. To hear how nicely Parikshit Maharaj is asking, what are these rules, what are they? So, as I was saying, in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Rupa Goswami has already listed down, so we will quickly go through this. Because all of you know all these verses. Is that 3, 4, is it? No, there are 2. Oh, functional. So these are unfavorable things in devotional service. Atyahara prayasascha. So all these are already explained in this purport also today. But here it is explained in condensed form. Atyahara prayasascha prajalpo niyamagraha janasangascha laulyamcha shadbir bhakti vinashyati. So these are all unfavorable, not to be done. We have to avoid these things. One's devotional service is spoiled when he becomes too entangled in the following 6 activities: eating more than necessary or collecting more funds than required. So how do we know what is more than necessary? Actually, according to Ayurveda, you should only fill half of your belly with food. Not until here, until you are going to vomit. Half of the belly should be filled with food, water with water, and the rest is air, which is already there. Then it can digest also properly. If we eat too much, what will happen? We will get this, indigestion, belching. Then we will get some disease. Then it will become very, a lot of discomfort. And we cannot concentrate properly on our spiritual duties. And also, if we put too much weight on the stomach, the mouth, tongue, the tongue, belly and the genitals are in the same straight line. So if we put too much food into the stomach because of uncontrolled tongue, then one becomes sexually also very agitated, which is again not favorable for devotional service. So therefore, eating should be very regulated, only as much as we require. Like our father used to say, you should eat only when you are hungry. You should know what hunger is. Some people don't know what is hunger. They have probably not felt hungry. They just keep on eating. It's become a habit. And nowadays we can see this is very common. See, because when we eat, it takes some time for the body to digest it. 4 to 6 hours. So in between that we put more, something or the other, then it becomes difficult for the body. The body is constantly functioning, digesting something or the other. So until the food is completely digested, we don't have to actually put anything. The body doesn't require anything. Whatever else we are putting in between 2 proper meals, is unnecessary atyahara, because of which we can actually fall sick also. So give a good 6 hours and then you will feel hunger. You feel hungry, you eat. And don't also eat too much. So in this way, if we can regulate, we will actually feel much better that way when we eat like that properly. Rather than eating something or the other. Nowadays, especially in Philippines also, they eat 4 to 5 meals. That is way too much. They have a very early breakfast, and they have a late breakfast, and they have lunch, then they have a late lunch, and they have supper, then they have dinner, 5, 6 meals. And every one of them have rice. For them, rice means everything goes with rice. So that is a lot for the body. So each time 4 hours it is taken to digest 6 meals. 24 hours digestion is going on. Digestive system is working. So it will wear out. Will fall sick faster. So 2 to 3 meals maximum, not more than that is required. So if we regulate ourselves like this, we will have more energy also. We won't feel very tired and very lethargic. We won't feel like that. We will feel very energetic throughout the day. So eating more than necessary is not at all good for spiritual life. Collecting more funds than required. Naturally, collecting more funds means you are endeavoring very, very much to get money from here and there. Especially one who is practicing spiritual life. This is not at all conducive, because to collect funds you have to do some sort of material activity which will bind us to the material world. And that will again distract us from our actual goal. Over endeavoring for mundane things that are very difficult to obtain. Unnecessary. Something that is easy to do and attain, okay. Why overly exert so much energy into something that is not worth it even and very difficult to attain? We should just let it go. Talking unnecessarily. This is very difficult to control. So actually that's why it is said, if we want to approach the Lord, it can be done by engaging the tongue. We have to start serving the Lord with the tongue. How to serve the Lord with the tongue? Chant. Take prasadam and chanting. So 2 functions of the tongue, one is to taste and the other one is to vibrate. So both these functions, if they can be dovetailed in Krishna's service, when this is done, when they are engaged in Krishna's service, everything will automatically fall into place. So service begins with the tongue. Prabhu, I want to serve Krishna. Okay, engage your tongue first of all. You chant. The chanting is the first. And also, of course, hearing and chanting, both of these are very, very important. Then everything gets automatically controlled. So talking unnecessarily, this tendency everybody has. As soon as there's some opportunity, or they like to talk, so many things. Shrotavyadina Rajendra, Nranam Santi Saharshasa. So people have so many topics to talk about. So that should be controlled. If one can talk about Krishna, he can talk 24/7. That is good. So this controlling of the tongue, we can see here how there are actually a couple of different verses. 20. So here you can see how in Kulashekara, Mukundamala Sutra, he is ordering the tongue. What is he ordering? Jihve kirtai keshava. Until where? Jihve kirtai keshava. So he is ordering the tongue. O tongue, you chant the holy name of the Lord. So if you can, if you are a Goswami, you can order the senses like this. But we are not Goswami. So he is employing another method also. So here you can see all his senses he is ordering. Just like Ambarish Maharaj also engaged all his senses in the service of Krishna. So here he is ordering the tongue. O tongue, praise the glories of Lord Kishor. So can we order like this? The tongue will follow? No. So Goswami means they will follow. We may be able to do it for a short while and then gone. So he is employing another method also. What is that? Where is it? 26 is it? Pravartaya pranjalirasmi jihve. Here he is requesting with folded hands. My dear tongue, I stand before you with joint palms and beg you to recite the name of Lord Narayana. This is something that will work more for us. If we try to show our authority and order the tongue will do something else. So we must take this approach, my dear tongue. I have no control. Please, you do this. So both approach is, so if you can order. If you can request. But somehow or the other, we have to engage the tongue in the service of the Lord. Sevan mukhe hi jihvada. Swayameva spuratyada. Then all other senses also will automatically become engaged. So in this way, one has to execute devotional service. How you go? What was that? Function? Going up to what? Function up to. Page is it? So that is talking unnecessarily. Then comes niyamagraha. Niyamagraha means to not follow rules and regulations at all, or to overly follow, overly get into engrossed in following all these rules and regulations. So whatever rules and regulations there are, it is only for the purpose of focusing our attention on Krishna. So by the process of devotional service, we can immediately come to that platform. Whatever the spiritual master has given, whatever rules and regulations the spiritual master has given, that is sufficient. Like even chanting, some people they are very particular about facing only east. But no such thing is required. Niyamita smaranena kala. There is no hard and fast rules. You must only sit to the east. Where is east here? This way, is it? East. That way. If you face east, you will be facing your back to the deity. Which is better? You cannot face the back to the deity. So better facing west. So these kind of rules and all don't apply to us. But for the smartas, it is very important. You must only do like this, must only do like that. To the extent that they don't even know why they are following these rules. So, whatever little rules and regulations are there, that much, in the Krishna consciousness movement, whatever Srila Prabhupada has introduced, that much we have to follow. Other than that, it's all unnecessary. But if we even take that away, we start omitting even those rules, then that is also bad. That is not favorable to devotional service. Then, that is to work independently, basically. Associating with worldly minded persons who are not interested in Krishna consciousness. So how can this be avoided? Associating with them means to take their association is bad. But if we can elevate ourselves to the platform where we can learn how to give our association with them, that means we are not influenced by their tendencies or by their topics of discussion. If we can introduce Krishna consciousness into whatever, then it's okay. But of course, for that we have to be sufficiently strong. So we have to make ourselves sufficiently strong in the association of devotees. It will naturally happen. When we stay in the association of devotees, it's just like the iron rod that is placed in the fire. In Hindi also they say, Jaisa sang vaisa rang. So whatever kind of association you keep, I think in English also they have a saying. What is that? You tell me your 5 closest friends, I will tell you who you are. Something like that. There's something. So the closest people you associate with, those are the kind of tendencies you would develop. This is natural. So if you are constantly associating with devotees, you will automatically develop all those qualities, similar qualities. Or you will probably completely leave if you cannot take it. Only these two things can happen. Either you leave and go away, leave Krishna consciousness, or you will become a sadhu also. You are more likely to become a sadhu in the association of other sadhus, devotees. So, after taking sufficient association, then we should also give this association to others. We should not associate with worldly minded people, means not that we, treat them like some untouchables or something. That's why Madhyamadhikari is he who shows compassion to the innocent. Innocent, they are also non-devotees. Oh Prabhu, but I heard, worldly minded, this person is worldly minded, I don't want to talk to him. Not like that. Don't take his association, you give your association. That's why in those, in the other one, the 6 things favorable to devotional service, there it is. You must associate with devotees and also you have to give your association to others. It's not always about taking. As we advance spiritually, we have to also learn how to train up, downline, preacher. That's why a Madhyamadhikari is the one who can preach to others, who can clearly distinguish between who is who. He can identify who is innocent and who is envious, and accordingly he treats them. Associated with worldly minded who are not interested in Krishna consciousness and being greedy for mundane achievements. Something that you already have, you want more and more and more, mundane thing. That is also not conducive to spiritual life. So in this way, our acharyas have listed down all these things which are favorable and what are unfavorable. And these we have to accept. Other than these, we don't need other rules and regulations. Even in like Gaudiya Math, probably, there were other rules also. Like I believe they don't even eat potatoes and carrots and tomatoes. They say all these are foreign vegetables. So they don't eat. And then Ekadashi also, they have all sorts of weird rules and all. Prabhupada never introduced all this to us, so we don't have to try to do this kind of thing. As much as the spiritual master said, that's all. Our business is only how much the spiritual master has said. Then 6 favorable things are Utsaha, Nishchaya, Dhairya, Tattat, Karma, Pravartana, Sangatyaga, Sato Vritte, Shadbir Bhakti Prasiddhyati. So 6 favorable things. So 6, there are 6 principles favorable to the execution of pure devotional service. 1, to be enthusiastic. Always we have to be very, very enthusiastic to serve. This is very important for a devotee. Not that devotee is always very morose and not lacking enthusiasm. We should always be enthusiastic. If there is an opportunity, yes, take it up. Endeavoring with confidence, being patient. This is also very important. We should not expect results overnight. Oh Prabhu, I did this and nothing happened. That's irregular. No. That's why success or failure is up to Krishna. The attempt, the effort is what Krishna sees. It is not the result. Result we have to leave it to Krishna. It's up to him, success or failure. Just like for example, always we give example of Jatayu, right? Jatayu tried to save Mother Sita from Ravana, kidnapping her. But did he succeed? No. The wings were cut off. Fell down to the ground. He did not succeed. So Lord Ram said, no, you are highly successful because you fought for what, for me until the very end. So that is the real success. We should stay focused on the goal until the very end. Not simply get carried away by situations and circumstances and give up this whole thing. No. We have to stay focused. Once we have accepted the spiritual master, we have understood this philosophy, come what may, we have to stick to the same principle, we have to stick to the same goal. And even if we have not achieved the desired result, one is not a loser. It's up to Krishna. He is the judge. Whether or not one has passed the test of devotional service. Then acting according to regulative principles such as Shravan, Kirtana, Vishnu, Smaranam. Then 5, again, abandoning the association of non-devotees. There also, it is there. Association of non-devotees is bad. Here, abandoning the association of non-devotees is good. It means the same thing. So, you see how important it is to give up their association. But, we have to know how to do this properly. Not that we simply become fanatic and just walk away from everybody. No, I cannot associate with you. Get out, untouchable. Not like that. It means to not take their association. And then following the footsteps of previous acharyas, these 6 principles undoubtedly assure the complete success of pure devotional service. So we have to, of course, all these verses everybody knows. We read this nectar of instruction in the very beginning itself, but a lot of people fail in applying these principles. And down the line, somehow we become very relaxed about all this. So we have to always keep these in mind and we have to follow these properly. And in this way, one has to surrender to Krishna with their intelligence, with proper understanding. We should not surrender our intelligence and become foolish. Surrender to Krishna with intelligence, properly understand everything systematically, inquire submissively, learn in the association of devotees. In this way, we can advance very rapidly. So this is what actually devotees association means, that they encourage one another, advance spiritually. So, of course, there are many verses explaining this point also, how association of devotees is very, very advantageous in devotional service. It's a very long topic, but I would like to end here. We didn't see that verse, right? We'll probably see this one also, the 6 steps in surrender. And then we will end with this. So this is there in the 1866 purport. Not here, right? Origin. My Vedabase is edited Vedabase. My Vedabase is edited Vedabase. There are 2 versions of Vedabase also.
There is 72 version, 72 edition also, and I don't have also.
Here it says 72, right?
Next week. Next week, I think.
Yeah.
Don't click on that.
Yeah. Is it this?
Next. Go to until there.
This one. So this is what is it? Hari Bhakti Vilas. Anukulyasya sankalpa pratikulya varjanam rakshishyate vishvaso gotritve varanam tatha atmanikshepa karpanye shadvidha sharanagati. Where is the translation to this one?
No, it's not exactly.
Actually, it's there in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, right?
Also starting with
21.
24.
The 6 divisions of surrender are the acceptance of those things favorable to devotional service, rejection of unfavorable things, conviction that Krishna will give protection, acceptance of the Lord as one's guardian or master, full self-surrender and humility. So these are the 6. Surrender means like this. Surrender means not simply lip service, I'm a surrendered devotee. Nothing is happening. Surrender means we have to accept everything, even if something is very dear to me. Krishna doesn't want, okay, reject. This is tapasya, voluntarily accepting a difficult situation. When we do this, tapasya, tapo divyam. then we can approach the Lord. And of course, our tapasya is actually very less. All these, even Mayavadis and all, they do more tapasya than us. What tapasya we have? Our Ekadasi is also feasting. They follow Ekadasi, Nirjal, all this kind of thing. We follow Ekadasi, what? Ekadasi pizza, all these sorts of things. Our tapasya is very, very simple. So, but this much we have to do, whatever rules and regulations the spiritual masters give. Alright, so with this I'd like to stop it for today. If anyone, if you have any questions, clarifications, doubts, or anything you would like to ask, you can ask.
Just have one question. Regarding this Niyamanga, particularly in this direction. Now, just because like the scenario is sometimes they say you should sleep with your head towards this particular direction because otherwise it will be auspicious. When you wash your feet and wait before sleeping, otherwise there's no chance of those spirits. So, I mean, how do you see the connection in this way?
Yeah, that is actually more scientific because apparently if you put your head to the north, you are more likely to. Actually, Prabhu explained something like, when you align it to the North Pole or something, but North Pole again, the flat earth theory will come. Where is this poles and all? Something. So, when the head is placed to the north, you are more likely to get some mental. It's not just that it's inauspicious, there is a scientific reason. You would get head-related ailments, like poles repel, like that. So north, the top of our body and the north, somehow it repels, something like that. So head-related issues you will get. And if you place your head to the east, you're supposed to place to the east even. West you get something. So there is a scientific reasoning behind it. It's not just that it's inauspicious. So that is a very basic thing also. That much I'm sure you can follow. But what they do in Smartavadhi is, so many. You must be knowing, right? This is too much. Even when we were doing these rituals and all that, the way the so-called priests, they were making us do things. No, you must do like this. No, cannot do like this. No, do like this. This is how you should do it. And what is the meaning for that? Why you have to do like that? I don't know. This is how it is being done. That's all. So we don't have to get into all those things at all. While sleeping, yes. Otherwise, you can try and see. You put your head to the north from today. If you get some headache or something, then just revert to the south. But I'll see if we can find out the exact reason also behind this. And Vastu also, then it is there.
There is a verse actually answer unable to take out where Kishor tells Buddhi do the fire of the fire. That's when he says you sleep like that.
Also, Prabhu was telling us night time we will be sweet even through the dust outside because it's a good action we go through.
So Lakshmi is dust.
I don't know about that, but
Yeah, these things are coming, some sort of practice. Even in Philippines, actually, they believe this. They also have the superstition that you should not sweep at night. Everyone knows that somehow. So there must be something.
So you don't even give so much importance.
Prabhu actually taught us. Prabhu himself would.
Prabhupada also when you go outside on Ekadasi day, one day before you put the shoe outside.
Is it?
On Ekadasi. Prabhu said. Prabhupada, you're not supposed to have on Ekadasi. Even on Rahakalam, if there's some program with the Rahakalam, you put a slipper outside for that.
And one more belief they have is Friday they should not give money. That one definitely we should not follow. We must tell them that that one doesn't apply, it is no longer valid because we need money every day. So,
Now the Monastery they don't follow.
what is it?
Because
Nowadays, before they are following.
No.
because
Friday Lakshmi should only come in, she should not go out. Something they have like that. Anyway. So anything else? Anything you want to add? So we'll stop here for today. Granthraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.